What's up, Commanders fans? So last season, we ain't know where we was going to be at. We ain't know how this team was going to look. And look where we at now. And we have to give credit when credit is due. And one of those guys that deserve to come back and deserve to be on this team, of course, it all depends on how he plays this offseason. But that guy is none other than Noah Brown. And today I seen a stat that showed how beneficial he was to the Commanders last season. And it wasn't just what he did when he caught the ball. It's about what he did when he didn't catch the football. I'm talking about the penalties. The penalties I've been telling y'all about all last season, right? So when we couldn't get the ball rolling down the field and we didn't have guys that were on the same caliber as Terry McLaurin and even better than Terry McLaurin, we had Noah Brown, right? A guy that was supposed to be our number 2 wide receiver. And then before I even get into the details, let me tell you who was on our roster if you forgot. We had Terry McLaurin. We had Dyami Brown, who was with the Jags. Olamide Zaccheaus, who is with the Bears. And, of course, we got that all back with Jalen Lane in the draft. But we had those guys. We had Jamison Crowder. We had, who else was it? We also had a guy that didn't get to play, but he was on the team. And that guy is still here. But, it's no point even talking about him because he didn't even get to play. But we had guys on the team that were mediocre. Last season, prior to last season, when Ron Rivera was here, you wouldn't see Dyami Brown hit the roster and be a starter. You wouldn't see Jamison Crowder as much. Shoot, we probably wouldn't have seen Noah Brown. But we seen something in him, and we got him. And we added him to the team at the beginning of the season. And think about it. Last season, we got rid of Jahan Dotson. And we gave him to the Eagles. And, we all were shocked when he left. Because we felt like he was a number 1. But, honestly, he wasn't really he wasn't that caliber, right? And, sometimes as fans, we lie to ourselves because of where they get drafted. We just feel like we coach ourselves into it. We like, he a first-round draft pick. No. Sometimes they could draft wrong. And, of course, in Ron Rivera's era, he did it a lot. Emmanuel Forbes, Jamie Davis. I don't forgot his name. So, but the linebacker, you know what I'm talking about? We got Jahan Dotson. The list goes on. But it was a list of guys. Even don't let me forget about Chase Young. Chase Young was good, but the injury is what really made him seem like a draft bust. But man, those injuries can happen to anybody. But the stat I wanted to talk about is the fact that last season he was second. I'm talking about Noah Brown. Noah Brown was second in let me read it. Pass interference. So when it came to him drawing yards and he couldn't get the ball rolling or he couldn't get a catch, he made a way. He made a way for us to get the ball down the field. To make a positive out of a negative. So he had 158 yards. And the only person that was above him was Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson had 171 yards and drawn fouls. I said fouls, but penalties. You get what I'm saying? But it just goes to show that how much of an impact Noah Brown was. And then, of course, the clutch catch that he had against the Bears at the end of the game to seal the game. So before he got injured, I felt like he could have made it to 700 to 800 yards for last season and had a career high in yards. But, I think he was very clutch in getting him before the season started, because it was like, yo, we needed somebody that could help out Terry McLaurin, because if not, he was going to be double teamed the whole season, and we wasn't going to see Terry McLaurin break his touchdown record, and not just the touchdown record for him, but the franchise record as a whole. And we got to also give it to our backup QB who helped assist Terry McLaurin in, getting that franchise record for the most touchdowns in the season by a wide receiver. And that was Marcus Mariota. And it was just like, yo, when you balance out everything that Noah Brown did and you add up everything, you like, yo, he played 11 games, but he only started 9. Of course, he was injured, but it took some time for him to get acclimated to the offense, because he did come into the offense a little late, and it was still perfect timing in my opinion. And it took Jaden Daniels some time to really get used to these guys he was throwing to, but you could tell guys that stood out and guys that we brought back, like Zach Ertz, was perfect for Jaden Daniels' development in his second year. Seeing that they had chemistry, and it inspired Zach Ertz to come back out. And I'm sure Zach Ertz was probably going to retire if say for instance we won the Super Bowl. But that was perfect. And then Noah Brown felt like he wanted to come back. And not only did he just come back, we decided to pay him more. Last year we gave him a $1 million deal. This year he got a $2 million deal that could be up to $3 million. So it just shows that we value him, and it shows that he's inspired by Jaden Daniels and what we have going on in this organization, and he felt comfortable coming back. So I'm glad to have him on the roster, seeing that we have Deebo Samuel now, so he don't have to be the number 2, and if he is the number 2, he takes some of that pressure off of Terry McLaurin once again, and then he also takes the pressure off of Deebo Samuel. So it adds more to our arsenal. So it adds more to our wide receiver room and give us some more to work with. Just in case guys get locked up, we got somebody that can draw a pass interference and get us down the field still if we couldn't get the ball rolling. And, Deebo is a weapon, and you can use him in the backfield. You can use him outside, inside. Terry, you can do the same with Terry. But you want to keep Terry really on the outside. He's dominant at that position. And man, it's just when you think about what Noah Brown did last season he had 56 targets, and for those 56 targets, he had 35 of them, like in the range of like 60% and up. Like, he caught 60% of those, right? But I want you to understand that has a lot to do with everything. It has a lot to do with not understanding the way the quarterback throws, not understanding certain routes as well. And you having this experience in this offense for a year allows you to only get better, understanding everything, and then not understanding everything when it comes to the playbook, understanding the coaching, understanding Jaden Daniels. And Jaden understands Noah Brown, understands like, yo, he needs help here. Okay, cool. I know he knows if I need help and they blitzing, boom, he going to come back for me. Like, it's just everything is going to be 10 times better in this next year because he has Terry. He has chemistry with almost everybody except Deebo Samuel. And, of course, the new guys that's coming in. But it just shows that we have something to build on. And I'm glad that Jaden has that. And, last season it was good enough. And just with a mediocre wide receiver room, we were able to get to the NFC Championship. Imagine what happens when we add now Deebo. And then you got these guys like Terry and Noah Brown in their second year with Jaden Daniels and with Cliff Kingsbury's offense. Right? And then Cliff Kingsbury decided to not take a head coaching job and leave us. He felt inspired to stay here. And then you brought Michael Gallup out of retirement. Who knows if he's going to make the team? Then you got Jalen Lane. And then you got Luke McCaffrey in the offense another year. Who knows what Luke McCaffrey is going to do? Because Luke is good. I mean, right now he doesn't have, he's not really jumping off the charts, but he does have that eye, that understanding of the game to find a hole in the defense and find that space and get open. So it's not like he doesn't have that potential. He does. And I'm excited to see where he goes in this next year. One of those guys that everybody feels like is not going to be here is KJ Osborne. And I don't know. Everybody just feel like he's going to get voted out. I don't know. He may not make the team, but it's a possibility. And then you got the undrafted free agent Jacoby Brooks. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but he came from, I want to say Georgia. I could be wrong. But yeah, man, like, once this off season is over and we get the preseason, we get to really see what guys got and what happens and what they bring to the table. I would love to have that undrafted free agent on our team and really see what he can put together, So I'm excited for what we have in our wide receiver room right now. And like I said, that brings a lot to the table that Noah Brown cannot just catch the ball, but when he can't catch the ball, he can draw fouls, penalties. And, other guys that were below him was Darnell Mooney, Alec Pierce, and those guys were also in the 100 range for yards drawn. And it just goes to show that how important it was that, when it comes to everything all around, because everything matters as a wide receiver. You have to learn how to block. You have to know how to block. You have to block. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be willing to block. And then not only that, but you have to be willing to make hard catches. You have to be willing to go above and beyond to make everybody's job easier and to understand that it's a team sport. And if you're not doing your job, it makes it harder for everyone else. And of course, if you're doing your job and you're doing everything else that we need you to do and stuff we didn't even think about, that's more of a reason why they re-signed him. So I'm excited. I'm super excited to have him back on the team. And I just think this was a perfect move by the Washington Commanders. And I think this is a very underestimated move. And I think we are going to be way better than we were before. And like I said, before the draft, I was thinking like, we need somebody that's shifty, somebody that's fast, just as fast as Terry McLaurin and is as shifty as Olamide Zaccheaus, to fill in the holes that we had last season. Like, of course, De'Ami Brown was good at the deep balls, but now we got Jalen Lane who can do the same thing. Then we got Jalen Lane who can be as shifty as Olamide Zaccheaus, because as Olamide Zaccheaus, although we don't want to, give him his credit, or his flowers, but he was really good at cooking people, and Jalen Lane can do the same. So I'm excited to see who ends up on this roster, who we end up putting on the practice squad. And like I said, this offseason, the undrafted free agents, I feel like we are going to sign Sean Taylor's little brother, Gabe Taylor. And I just feel like it's going to happen. And he's already shocking everybody, with his speed. And I'm excited to see what he does. And who doesn't want a guy that's fast like that can get to the play, that can make a play happen. So let me know how y'all feel about the undrafted free agents. Let me know how y'all feel about Noah Brown. Let me know how y'all feel about the wide receiver room. Are we making all the right moves? Is Adam Peters doing his thing? Is he cooking once again? Are we going to be back in the NFC Championship? Let me know. But in the meantime, I'm out.